Welcome to Banos, the adventure capital of Ecuador.
Banos is located in a lush green valley outside the city of Ambato to the south of Quito. It's an adventure lover's paradise with no shortage of tour operators offering all sorts of exciting activities to take part in and beautiful landscapes to admire.
We'll be spending a week in town and trying out everything from cycling to one of the craziest waterfalls we've ever seen, to visiting an incredible crater lake, and of course, no location in Ecuador would be complete without some sort of crazy swings.
So today we are hiring these bikes to take us down to a really beautiful waterfall, which is one of the top things to do here in Banos.
A bit nervous because we have to cycle on the main road. The traffic is pretty crazy on the main road and drivers are pretty fast, so we'll see how it goes. It's
all downhill, which is nice, so you can literally cycle all the way down to it without having to pedal much, and then on the way back you can actually get a lift if you want to, which is also nice because that would be all uphill. Kind of want to change the gear, but I don't know if I change the gear's going to come off. So far quite a lot of the cars have slowed down quite a lot when they've passed us, which has been nice. There's loads of signs for bikes and stuff all along the road, so it's obviously a really common thing to do that drivers are aware of. So far it's not been too bad. All downhill, so nice and easy.
It's scary with the traffic, I must admit.
So we've just arrived to the first waterfall on the trail, or at least the first that we've seen, just down over there. Very pretty. There is also a tarabita here, but it looks very, very old, and I'm not sure I would want to go all the way down across the chasm on that thing. No, thank you. So that first tunnel we had to go through because there wasn't a way around, but on this one and the next two, I think you don't go through the tunnel, you can take the cycle route off to the side. Makes it a little bit safer. Still enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm glad that we have a little bike lane.
Yeah.
Because it can be a bit intimidating. I've not cycled in traffic in who knows how many years now.
You're doing well.
Thank you.
Did you do that?
Hell no.
That's insane.
At this point, the heavens began to open and things started to get very, very wet.
Oh, the best experience.
We're getting
cycling
soaked.
in rain.
Beautiful views, but Ecuador is very wet at this time of year.
Yeah.
Apparently. So we've seen 4 waterfalls so far on this trip. We must be almost there now. I hope so, because we are soaking wet.
I could literally get a waterfall out of my jacket.
We are so wet. Stop being fun like.
Halfway through.
Yeah.
I'm so wet that I don't know, it will take a day to dry.
At this point we're so wet we just don't care anymore. We can't get any wetter.
And we just reached the entrance actually.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit closer than that. So strong.
Wow.
the end, it wouldn't have even mattered if we stayed dry during the bike ride, because the force of the waterfall was immense and getting too close to it meant getting very wet.
But you can get even closer by following a crazy path through the cliffs that requires a fair amount of crawling and scrambling to get through.
This is crazy. This is literally the craziest path. Like, look how close to the waterfall we are. That's it. We didn't actually know this before coming, but there's actually two entrances to the Pailon waterfall. The one we just went to is the original entrance, I think, and that one takes you kind of like below the waterfall and right behind it. And then there's this new entrance where you can get the pictures from like right above the waterfall. So we're gonna go check out both, might as well, seeing as we're here. It's finally stopped raining, so fingers crossed it stays like that. Looks like we're the only ones at the second entrance. When we looked up before, it was like super busy, and now nobody here. Place really makes you appreciate the power of nature. So I think it's about time we headed back to Banos. We are wet, cold, and definitely ready for a hot shower.
We haven't even had lunch yet.
No.
Because we're just too wet.
If you have time for both, do both for sure, because you get different angles. But if you only have time for one, definitely recommend the one that says like the new entrance, because it's a lot easier to access. You don't have to walk as far. It's the same price. You get really good shots of the waterfall.
We loaded our bikes into the back of a waiting truck, waited a little while for a few more people, and hopped in the back for the ride back to Banos.
This morning we are heading up into town nice and early because we are going to be taking a day trip to Quilotoa Lagoon, which is somewhere we've wanted to go ever since we've seen pictures of it here in Ecuador.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite far away. It's going to be like a 3-hour ride.
We've decided to go with a tour from Banos just because of our sort of lack of time a little bit in Ecuador. It's going to be a long day, but hopefully the payoff is going to be worth it at the end.
Apparently the drive will be really nice, and when we're driving from Cotopaxi to Banos, it was a really beautiful drive. So I assume it will be pretty similar to that.
You ready to go?
Yes, it's a private tour, so it's great. If you take the tour from Banos, you're more likely to get a private tour. So if you want a quieter experience, maybe take the tour from Banos and not from Quito, because you'll have more people in the group, I think.
The long drive to Quilotoa was broken up with some scenic stops along the way. Our first stop was at the Laguna de Diablo Viewpoint, a beautiful emerald lagoon just north of Ambato. After that, we hopped back in the car before making another quick stop at a viewpoint of some farmland, quite literally when we checked it on Google Maps.
Eventually we arrived in Quilotoa and made our way up to the edge of this enormous crater lake where the views were absolutely incredible.
Welcome to Quilotoa Lagoon. We have just gone to the viewpoint to check it out from the top, and we're now heading down to the base, to the lake itself, which is about 45 minutes to an hour down, about an hour to an hour and a half back up. This place is just so beautiful. Definitely one of the prettiest places we've visited in Ecuador, for sure. So the path down Quilotoa will take you all the way down to the bottom here, where you can actually rent boats or canoes or something to go out on the lagoon. We're pretty happy just here because your views aren't going to get any better if you go lower, and it's really steep going back up. One thing you can do from the top is walk all the way around the crater. There's actually a path that goes all the way around. We haven't got time for that, unfortunately, but I think the views would be pretty much the same the whole way around. And from here, it's pretty epic. You enjoying the way up?
I'm the time of my life. No, honestly guys, it's so bloody steep.
Unless you are wanting to do the boat trip, or like you're going to get a horseback up, I don't really see the point of walking down.
Unless you enjoy walking up here in altitude.
The views aren't any better. You get this view from like near the top, so not going to get any better the lower you get.
Also, if you come and you want to walk down a bit, just to wear supportive shoes, because there's still people with heels on.
Heels on this finish line. Well done.
After making it back to the top, we stopped for a well-needed lunch break. Before hiking up a short distance to get one final look at this incredible crater. Then it was back in the car for the long drive back to Banos.
What's that for a view?
That's a nice way to end the day. It's so beautiful. So clear as well.
Apparently this volcano very rarely clears, so this is like super lucky.
At the start of our third day in Banos, we hired a taxi to drive us up to La Casa del Arbol on the slopes of Tungurahua volcano. The main reason to come up to these scenic gardens is for the treehouse it's named after and the swings hanging from it.
La Casa del Arbol has not one, not two, but three different swing sets. One is just here in front of us, one is over there at the end of the path, and the other one is the main one all the way down at the end. So this one is the swing that everybody wants the picture with, the actual Casa del Arbol. So I'll have a little go on that. Keep going.
That's fine, Mummy.
Keep going. Keep going. They also have this really cool like zip line kind of thing. I don't know what you would call it. Half a zip line, half swing. You can go all the way down. Are we gonna have a race?
You're gonna have a race.
Aw, no fun.
I'm able to get off it. Yeah, it's just too high for me, I think. Like, look, I'm gonna get off it.
You could get off it.
No. I'll see how you do it.
Here we go. Oh. Might help if you take the thing off first. It's so much fun. I have to get Kitty to try that. It's so fun, I have to do it a second time. But no, Kitty. Look at that empty chair.
So our main recommendation is to come up here as early as you can. The tour group's arriving like just after 10 o'clock. So if you come between like 9 and 10, you probably have the swing all to yourself, which is really nice. And you can really enjoy the atmosphere rather than just queuing up for like 10 minutes to get a go.
And make sure you pick a nice day to do it because
Yeah.
you need the views like this. So the volcano should be here. You can't quite see it today, unfortunately, but everything else, pretty epic.
Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like when we were doing the cycling.
Yes, that was awful. So we're just leaving La Casa de Arbol now. Really fun little park, and only £1 entry, so it's like
very cheap.
super cheap. Up here on the mountainside, there's a bunch of different places you can visit if you wanted to. They have all sorts of things. Animal parks, dinosaur parks. We're now walking back down the road a little bit because about 3 kilometers from here there is a place called Los Manos de Pachamama, which is like one massive big hand that sticks out of the mountainside.
Cool on the pictures, so
Yeah.
we try and check this out. Hopefully we'll find it.
La mano de la Pachamama.
After a short walk, we arrived at La Mano de la Pachamama, and we're really lucky to once again have the whole place to ourselves whilst we took in the amazing views.
Just leaving the hand of Pachamama. A cool experience, a little bit expensive compared to the swing. This one was $5. The swing was $1 and there was like way more to do there. So it's $5 literally just to walk to where the hand is.
You can do multiple things here, but you have to pay them separately. Like if you do that crazy swing, you have to pay $20. You can go up to that little viewpoint, that's like 50 cents. But it's worth coming here. I think it was really cool.
Being able to fly the drone here really made it. I just asked them if it was fine, signed some details, then I was able to fly it around and we got some really cool pictures.
If you don't have a drone, you can always ask somebody to go up at the viewpoint for 50 cents and take a photo of you because you can see the hand from there.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my
oh my
gosh.
God, look at that!
Okay.
Oh.
Hello. Oh, hello.
Oh my goodness, who is that cutie pie? Hello.
Hello. I want to take you home. I want to take you home.
Oh my goodness, look at that cuteness.
And see what takes priority in our videos.
We'll tell you that.
Okay. Sorry about that. Got a bit distracted.
We're so gonna miss these dogs.
He's coming back,
Oh,
look.
He's
Hello.
coming home with us. Oh, so much fun. Definitely going to miss these like random dogs around this part of the world because we've been having so much fun with them. Honestly, the best thing.
After finally managing to get the adorable puppy to stop following us, we hopped back in a taxi back to Banos and went to try some traditional Ecuadorian food in the main plaza.
We've got some patacones, which are basically just fried plantain with cheese, and then we've got some lapingachos. They're basically just potato cakes with like fried plantain, some corn, and nice salad. Let's dig in. Try one of these patacones.
I never thought of putting bananas and cheese together. Was it nice? Very nice.
It's a nice fried, oily snack with cheese.
And the fried potato cake.
Yeah.
You should also definitely make sure to visit Aromi Cafe and Chocolate to get one of the nicest hot chocolates in Ecuador.
We really enjoyed our stay in Banos and would consider it a must-visit location on any trip to Ecuador. There is way more to see and do here than we could cover in this video, but the highlights for us were definitely the Pailon del Diablo waterfall and our tour to Quilotoa Lake. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next adventure.